Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. This is the introduction to C++ programming. And the first question is, why am I doing this playlist? So there are two reasons. One is that a lot of software has been written using C++ programming and is still being written. One of my favorite frameworks is in C++, that is C Sharp. The second reason is that I was doing this playlist with data structure. If you watch the last video on data structure, then you would see that I mentioned that for competitive programming, I would use C++. So I was doing data structure with C. The problem I faced was that you have to write a lot of boilerplate code because of two reasons. One is that C does not have a standard library, and second is the absence of something elegant like templates and operator overloading. Plus, the object orientation gives you many nice abstractions which you can use in developing large programs. So C++ fills all these gaps very easily. I would have ideally liked to do data structures in Rust, but the problem is that certain places, for example, ICPC does not allow you to use Rust to write what you call code in competitions for that. And C++ is as such not a bad language. It is complex, but not bad. Okay. If you say what is one bad thing about C++, then I would say that it is complexity of the language. Now that is the bad thing I talked about. What is the good thing about C++? So many things are good about C++. It is multi-paradigm language. It is quite reliable, and it has been shown that very large systems can be built by C++. The language and the ecosystem is quite mature. You can use all the C libraries in C++ almost without any change. A lot of software has been written in C++, so it is not going anywhere. New software is being written. The language is not dead. The features are still being added. I believe there is a C++ 26 version. After C++ 11, if I remember, the language has received an update every 3 years. So 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26, every 3 years a new update comes. You have almost all imaginable features in C++, with the exception of functional programming. It does not support functional programming that much. It is not cross-platform if you use operating system level libraries, but apart from operating system level libraries, it is quite portable. The code is quite portable. The syntax is quite old. Now, here is a question one should ask, that why should I not learn something like Rust than C++? So my idea would be, or rather my answer would be that, why don't you learn both? For anything new you want to write, you should probably choose Rust. Rust is, I would say, a better language than C++, with one exception, that is C++ templates are far superior than what Rust generics have. Okay. You can do kind of magic in templates which you can't do in Rust yet. The language is still relatively quite new, and we might have several features. But if you want to use stuff like, if you want to do things like C star, or if you want to interface with that kind of library, then C++ is a very nice language. So it's not that C++ is going anywhere. If you think of any modern software on desktop, there's a very high chance that it is written in C++. So let's look at the features and get started with the slide. Okay. So, okay. The C++ is a multi-paradigm compiled statically typed programming language. We'll come to know what is the meaning of statically typed later on. It is a top choice for systems programming, compilers, databases, games, artificial intelligence, etc. So for example, MongoDB, I believe, is a lot in C++. Almost all AAA titles in games are done in C++. If you talk about AI, then TensorFlow and PyTorch are written in C++. Certain code which you want to be optimized in production models in AI are done in C++. It is one of the fastest languages along with C and Rust. C, Rust, and C++, they hold the top bracket of fast programming languages. It is a mature language, but still under development. We have talked about it. Modern C++ is quite safe, and tools exist to do things which language does not cover. There are sanitizers available. There is model checking available, so you can do all that. You can do formal verification of the code and all that kind of things you can do. It has large ecosystem, huge number of libraries are available. All C libraries can be used with minor changes possibly. So, and what is the benefit of choosing C++ is that enterprise has lots of job because a lot of code has been written in it. Learning curve is steep simply because the language is quite big. The spec of the language, I believe, exceeds somewhere around 1400 pages, one of the biggest specifications. And the syntax is quite involving simply because there are so many features. It is a top choice for competitive programming. 75 to 80% people use C++ for competitive programming, and is one of the reasons why I'm touching this language. There are software like C Star, CLRDB, Red Panda, SMF written in C++ for highest possible performance. So all these CLRDB, Red Panda, SMF are based on C Star, which is a piece of work. I don't think that there is any better network framework other than C Star. So to go through this playlist, what do you need? You need knowledge of C. I will not cover basics of C. So if you don't know C, you need to read a book, or you can watch my videos, but you'll need an earphone because the audio is quite low in my videos. It was recorded long time ago and I was a novice. So if you don't like my videos, you can go ahead and watch any YouTube channel on C. I will not cover for loops. I will not cover arrays, pointers, structures. I won't. Second thing you need is an editor. You can use VS Code or CLang. Okay. I will most probably use VS Code or Emacs. Those are the two things we will cover. On Windows, you can use Visual Studio. You can simply go ahead and install Visual Studio Community Edition. It's free. You will need latest GCC or Clang compiler because the features which we are going to discuss have to be supported. We will discuss all the modern features. You will need GNU GDB debugger. The reason is I'll be doing most of the coding on Linux. I will not touch Windows. Visual Studio, as I said, Make is what you need because you will be running some Make files. Though for professional work, you should learn CMake. We won't touch CMake. We will simply type at most 4-5 lines of Make file. You don't need to worry about that. As I said, most of the videos will be on GNU Linux. So what we will cover C++ 26 up to 26, Unix programming, object-oriented programming, functional parts, and standard library. So a question which students usually ask is what book should we study? So there is not one book which you should study. There's a list of books. So you can go ahead and read that. The C++ programming language, I believe 4th edition is one which is out there by Strauss-Club himself. Then you have effective C++ and more effective C++, which covers up to C++ 98. And then for the later revisions, modern effective C++ by Scott Myers. You have exceptional C++ and more exceptional C++ by Herb Sutter. This is also based on C++ 98. When I say C++ 98, that means the revision of the language. So I don't think it has been revised, and Herb Sutter, I believe, was the last ISO committee chairman. I don't remember. I don't track current ISO committee numbers. Then you have got two books from Nikolai Josepis, and there are other also. One is C++ Standard Library, a tutorial and reference, and the second is C++ Templates Complete Guide. Then you have Modern C++ Design, Generic Programming and Design Patterns Applied by Andrei Alexandrescu. C++ Concurrency in Action by Anthony Williams, C++ Templates Metaprogramming by David Abrams and Alexei Gutovoi, and this C++ Standard Library by Rainer Grimm. So this is all the material we are going to cover. If you want, you can buy the books. That's up to you. Okay. But if you watch my videos, every video, and try to understand that, then more or less all these books will be covered. I have read all these books on C++. So get ready for some excitement. I'm very excited for this playlist and it will be a big one. Okay, covering everything which is given in these books will take time. So be patient. And I think one video will come every 5 days. And once I'm done with the PostgreSQL playlist, one video may come every alternate day. So at worst, in 5 days, there will be one video on C++. So you can go ahead and follow me. I mean, subscribe to the channel and all that so that you can get notified about the new videos. So I will not tell you how to install Visual Studio on Linux. GCC and all, I will show you how to install. GDB, I will show you. You can use DDD debugger, you can use LLDB as well, but what I will cover is the GNU GDB classic debugger on console. Okay. If you want a GUI on Linux or on Linux, you can probably use some plugin of VS Code. I'm just not comfortable with the plugins of VS Code, so sometimes I code using Emacs and sometimes I code using VS Code. So we'll see which one we use, okay? So with this, I will end this video and I welcome you to this new playlist as such. And from the next video onwards, we will start saying how to write code in C++. So thanks a lot for watching the video. And I hope that you will be able to learn something useful by watching these videos, which are upcoming. And I wish you all the very best for this journey, which we'll take together. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy.